Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Meekins, your elementary principal, and I'm here with another read aloud for you. This one is called Don't Feed the Monster by Sigil Adler and illustrated by Abira Das. But if you see a monster, now you will know that screaming and hollering will just make it grow. So think of a joke, laugh as loud as you can. If you don't feed the monster, you'll ruin his plan. Let's see what this story is going to teach us about that. Don't feed the monster. One day, Billy, to his great surprise, found out that he'd won a most fabulous prize, an awesome new home to live in and share with his very own kid to pester and scare. There's Billy the monster. But when he got there, he started to pout, and all his excitement turned into doubt. Who would be frightened of someone like him, looking all puny and not mean or grim? Then his tutor came. Billy said with a frown, "I must be the wimpiest monster in town." But the tutor replied with his knowing grin, "If you wish to grow, well, soon you'll begin." Something important you simply must know. Frightening children is how monsters grow. Just scare him a little at bedtime each night, a poke or a whisper to give him a fright. That night in the room, Billy gave it a try, hoping to make the young boy cry. He made his creepiest buzzing sound till the boy woke up frightened and looking around. "Mom, come quick! A monster's in here." "Really?" she said. "That's not true, my dear. Monsters aren't real, and you don't have to scream. I'm sure that you just had a terrible dream." Can you see the monster? When Mom was around, Billy knew he must hide, so he ran from the room and he waited outside. He peeked in the mirror that stood in the hall, and he looked slightly bigger. Yes, not quite as small. Billy was thrilled. He was bigger at last, so he stayed up all night just having a blast, planning the next time that he'd scare the boy, and the look on his face he was sure to enjoy. Ooh, he's under the bed. The next day, Billy crept under the sheet, reached down below to tickle his feet. He started to scream and his face turned so red, kicked with both legs and almost wetting the bed. Ooh, gosh, he's getting very big. "Mom, come quickly, it's grabbing my toes." Now monsters aren't real, as everyone knows. His mom shook her head. "It's not what it seems. I'm sure you're still having those terrible dreams." Billy was happy, just bursting with joy, thinking of how he would next scare the boy. And when the night that he stepped into the hall, in the mirror he saw he was even less small. Oh, Billy the monster. The next day, after the boy dimmed the light, Billy tried spooking him, gave him a fright, with shadows so scary on the wall of his room, till Mom rushed in and banished the gloom. It's making a shadow. Amazing, cried Billy. Just look how he scares. Look at his goosebumps and those prickly hairs. And when he stepped out, he got a huge thrill to see that his body had grown bigger still. See his little muscles on his arms? It looks like he has been doing some push-ups. Billy grew proud of his scaring power, spooking the boy at any late hour. All of those screams were the most scrumptious treat, more filling than any food he might eat. As Billy grew bigger, he filled up the place, taking almost all the free space. With his new size, he just whistled and clapped to make the boy jump up like he'd been zapped. Look, the boy's running away screaming, "Ah!" And Billy the monster is getting huge. Mom really worried about her young son. She knew that the scares were simply no fun. When she went to the library and searched for a book, "Get rid of monsters," and then took a look. Right away as she read, Mom figured it out, that Billy would grow with each shriek, every shout. "My son," she said, "I think that you'll find that he'll shrink down if you pay no mind." Interesting. "Fine," said the boy. "No scaring for me. I'm not going to shriek, and I won't try to flee. Next time the monster comes to my bed, I won't scream aloud. I will ignore him instead." What happens when you ignore the monster? Does he grow or does he shrink? That night, when Billy crept under the sheet, trying to tickle the little boy's feet, the boy laughed and then fell asleep. And Billy, so shocked, almost wanted to weep because it didn't work. Sad and discouraged, he peeked at his size. And there, indeed, to Billy's surprise, he was smaller again, not nearly so grand. Things were not going quite as he planned. Next page. Ooh, he's shrinking fast. The next night, he cast shadows up on the wall, but the boy only giggled, not scary at all. Ha 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 ha. Billy ran out, for it just wasn't fair. All I want is to give that boy a big scare. Now Billy felt nothing but sadness inside. He really was shrinking and he wanted to hide. He felt so exhausted, perhaps he should leave, for he had no more tricks left up his sleeve. Billy had shrunk. He could barely be seen, not nearly as huge as he had once been. He leaped out of bed and he screeched on, but the boy didn't notice, just gave a great yawn. "That does it," Poor Billy gave one last shriek that came out sounding more like a squeak. I'm leaving before I vanish for good. This home is not working out like it should. Now, least you feel worried about Billy's fate. Never fear, he's a monster. I'm sure he'll do great. He just left to seek out a new kid to scare, hoping to find a real coward somewhere. But if you see a monster, now you will know that screaming and hollering just makes it grow. So think of a joke, laugh out loud as you can. If you don't feed the monster, you'll ruin his plan. So what is it that the monsters want? They grow when what happens? They grow when you give them attention and you act scared. But just like the boy did, if you can ignore it or even think of a joke instead, the problems get smaller and the monsters shrink and disappear. I hope you have a great week, boys and girls, as you ignore those monsters and those problems and focus on all the good things that God has for you. Have a great week. Bye.